Playmakers, how's it going? This is Coach Wood, and we are back for another amazing episode of content, you guys. Very excited to be back with you. As always, it's time to get after it, you guys. The season is right around the corner. Many of you are already in camp or headed to camp within the next few days. So live bullets, and we do not want to waste your time. Want to give you some food for thought to think of as you move forward in this industry, you guys. So today's topic, you guys, is the roster will tell you a lot. The roster will tell you a lot, and some of you guys are used to looking at college football rosters, NFL rosters. You're trying to do the math and read the tea leaves and see how you might stack up on a particular team, but a lot of you guys aren't looking at the roster the right way, or maybe not even looking at the roster at all. So we want to talk about in this episode how the roster will tell you a lot, because this is business. And if you are going to be a smooth operator in the business of football, in the football entertainment industry, then you better learn how to read a roster, you guys. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. I am your host, Coach Wood. We talk football on this channel. This is the Before You Go Pro channel. If you do enjoy the content that you hear today, please consider hitting that like button and that subscribe button, actually. Don't forget the subscribe button. That's the most important one, because we are extremely close, you guys, to 1,000 subscribers. Actually, about 15 people away, which is crazy to say. So please add to the joy, please add to the community, and hit that subscribe button. Also, we're real practitioners, so check out what we have down in the description box, you guys. We've got some special resources for you football players and you families of football players out there. But let's get into the content. Once again, you guys, the roster will tell you a lot. The football roster will tell you a lot. And in particular, you guys, in this episode, we're going to be talking about from the recruiting aspect. Most of the families that tap into our content, the athletes, they're looking to be recruited, or maybe they're already at a college. They're thinking about the transfer portal one day, but they're actively in the midst of trying to get that college football scholarship, that PWO opportunity, that partial. So that's what we want to really focus on when we're talking about how to really evaluate and read the roster, you guys. Part of the reason why so many athletes end up wasting time, and unfortunately their parents end up wasting money, but end up wasting time when it comes to college football recruiting, is just because they haven't done some of the basic due diligence. The basic due diligence, you guys. I see it time and time again. Been in the college football recruiting space for 20 years now, which is crazy to say, but I see it time and time again when just a little bit of due diligence could have saved you some time, some money, and some effort. Maybe it was time, money, and effort with the camp you chose to go to. You were at the wrong camp. Maybe it was time, money, and effort because you didn't take that SAT or that ACT that if you would have took it, we could have got you into that school. Or with your core course GPA. There are things that you need to have in place that signal to college football recruiters, to player personnel people, that you've got your stuff in order, you guys. And one thing that can tremendously save many of you guys time, because time, especially if you're an athlete that's under the radar. Now, maybe if you're way ahead of the game, you're only a freshman, you're a sophomore, you got plenty of time, you can make some missteps. But when we're getting into after my junior year, when we're getting into I'm a senior, playing in my last couple games senior year, there is no time for missteps, you guys. So that's what Before You Go Pro is all about, is putting our athletes and families in position where there's less missteps, okay? So one of the big ones, you guys, is checking out the roster. You know what your size is. You know what your speed is. You know what your stats were. So why even play around? Those are the things that are your resume. Your size, your speed, your stats from last season. If you only have one interception, then you're probably not going to LSU as a cornerback unless you're running 10-5, 10-2. So you know what your stats are in football and in maybe other sports you play that could actually assist you on your what? On your resume. What is the other thing that was a part of your resume or is a part of your resume? Your academic standing too, right? So there's things you can find out about the university before you even put a bunch of time, effort, and money into trying to get to that university, trying to get in front of that coach. A lot of things can be panned out and figured out ahead of time, you guys. And people aren't doing their homework. So the reason why we bring up the roster is because the roster will tell you a lot. The roster will tell you if they're recruiting kids from your area. The roster will tell you if they're recruiting kids that are your size at your position. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look back over the years, especially if you've got a coach that has been somewhere for a little while, which is rare in today's day and age. But if you got a coach who has been somewhere for a little while, a la Dabo Swinney, it doesn't take much research to look over the years at his starting quarterbacks and figure out what size, what athleticism he likes out of quarterbacks. So if I'm a quarterback, even though I like Clemson, I might not be their cup of tea. When I was growing up, I wanted to go to USC. If USC would have said, Coach Wood, you got a scholarship, I would have been there in a heartbeat. Recruiting shut down ASAP, like today. But I wasn't their cup of tea. So the roster will tell you a lot without even speaking to that school. Obviously, you can look at what you need to have as far as academic standing at that school. And if you're a student athlete, it's going to be a little bit less than what the general ed students need to have. But you got a general census if you're thinking about going to Dartmouth or you're thinking about going to a Furman University or UC Davis. You got a general sense at what you're going to need GPA wise as a student athlete. But guess what? The roster will tell you that a lot of times too. A lot of times on the roster, they'll tell you in the summary, the bio of the athlete, what their GPA was in high school. So right there, I've got a decent sense of what I need to have as a student athlete academically to get into UC Davis, to get into Cal Poly, to get into North Carolina. How did I figure that out? Because in a lot of the roster summaries, the athletes on their team, it said what type of GPAs these young men have. Now I'm a linebacker. And I want to play at NC State. I want to play at Virginia. I want to play at an FCS school like Northern Arizona or Montana, Kennesaw State. So now I'm looking at their rosters and I'm seeing what the sizes of their linebackers are. Once again, the roster will tell you a lot. Think about if you were applying to a Fortune 500 company and you got a roster of the bios and the backgrounds of the people from the Fortune 500 company. You think that would help you out as far as getting in line with what you need to have in place? 100%. That's what the roster is for you. It gives you an idea of what that college recruiter likes, the staff likes, as far as the people that they want to bring into their organization. These are the type of people we like at the type of positions we have available. So you can look at who they're looking at, once again, even geographically, and say, do I fit the bill? If I fit the bill, then yeah, that's a camp I'm going to. If I fit the bill, then yeah, that's a coach I'm going to continue to DM. If I fit the bill, then yeah, that's a school I'm going to go to the unofficial visit for. But if I'm looking at the roster and I'm reading the summaries and I'm looking at where these guys come from and I'm looking at the GPAs they have and I'm looking at the stats they have at wide receiver, at quarterback, and my stuff isn't coming close, then that might not be a school that I need to spend a bunch of time on. You can do the research pretty quickly nowadays. So you guys have to be mindful. The roster will tell you a lot. That's why I wanted to come to you guys today. We'll teach you if you need help kind of reading the roster, also looking at what they're doing as far as recruiting. You guys can go to websites like 24/7 Sports. There's probably still Rivals around too, where you guys can go to websites and see who they're recruiting. I guarantee you those guys, the incoming employees, will be very similar to the employees that are already there, a la student athletes. All right? So keep this in mind. Do your research. Check out the academic website. Check out the football website. But really look through that roster. You can even count how many guys they'll keep at each position by looking at the roster. All right, and then you see the ages of these guys. Now, the ages won't do much for you like it did back in my day, because it can easily pluck another junior or senior out of the portal, but it's something good to look at. The roster will tell you a lot. All right, so hopefully this helps you guys out. We want you to be more savvy in this football entertainment industry. We want you to really know how to navigate and get closer to the things you're looking for. All right. I'm Coach Wood. Hit that subscribe button. Also, check out the resources we have for you, baby. I'll see you at the top.